So I was awake in the night, and this phrase was going through my mind. It had been confessed or declared over me. I've shared it before, but it will help me to kind of bring this part to a close. And this was the phrase: He watches over the watch of those who watch the Lord. I mean, I sleep pretty good. It's got to be something significant to wake me up. And here's this word echoed over my life. He says, he, didn't say I, he said, he watches over the watch of those who watch the Lord. I laid awake the rest of the night. It was, I don't know how, I don't remember the time, but it was several hours. I lay there the rest of the night making that statement over and over and over again. I mean, it rattled me, not fearfully so, but sobered me up to what God was saying. And I was declaring it. You ever do this where you declare something because you're trying to walk through it, you're trying to think through, what are you talking about? Why would you say this to me? He watches over the watch of those who watch the Lord. In biblical days, of course, they had these walled cities, and there would be watchmen on these walls. And those who had the responsibility to watch, they would look for any oncoming traffic. It could be friend or foe. It could be merchandise, people that are coming to trade. It could be an oncoming army. It could be a wanted individual that has committed crimes. Could be any number of things. But their responsibility on this wall is stand in that place and just to watch. And that's their job. Their whole job is to watch. When they see someone coming, they are to notify the people in the city. If it looks like it's a conflict, a problem, a war issue, then they blow the trumpet, the people rally to that place, and there's just certain signals that they would have as a city that were all dictated by the watchman. So the watchman has responsibility to watch. Well, what does a pastor do? What do moms and dads of a household do? What do owners of a business or manager of a department at a store that you work at? Whatever it might be, those are all positions of responsibility where we are to watch. We have different levels of influence, different levels of responsibility, but the point is we've been positioned at a high place, not for exaltation, but for responsibility. It's a function. In this place of being a watchman, I am to keep my eyes open so that maybe I'll see something that somebody else wouldn't see, and I can bring a warning, or I can bring a word of encouragement or a word of direction. But that's what watchmen do. And so the Lord speaks to me, one who I pretty intensely focus throughout my life on my responsibilities. I'm just good at just plodding along, making sure that I do what I'm supposed to do. I'm very, very responsible. Responsibilities. So then the Lord interrupts that part of my strength, and he says, he watches over the watch of those who watch the Lord. Are you getting the picture yet? He says, he watches over the watch of those who watch the Lord. Which is a really good deal because he can see better. He sees a lot better, a lot clearer, much more discerning. And it started a shift in my heart regarding, I don't know if this makes sense to you, but this is actually all connected to seek first the kingdom. It's connected to prosperous soul affecting every part of life. Here he is saying, all right, son, I'm going to put it in my words, and whether he implied this or not is up to him. But it felt to me, it's like, son, you know responsibility. Now I want to show you a higher responsibility. Just watch my face. Watch the direction of my eyes. You watch the Lord, and I'll watch your responsibilities. That's not an invitation for irresponsibility. It's not an invitation for people to go do whatever they want, neglect, being a good husband and dad and all the stuff. That don't misunderstand me here. But there is something in the Lord about watching what you're responsible for through his eyes. The Bible talks about giving direction with the eyes. I remember growing up, my dad could look at me a certain way. He didn't need to say anything. I knew I was in trouble because the eyes prophesy.